Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I am your host, Hery Acosta. Happy Friday to everybody. Hop straight into it, and let's just talk about the upcoming games. First one is today against Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Now, just kind of talking a little bit about how Joel Embiid could be a factor in this game, but, it all depends on if he actually, plays. But because this is not a back-to-back, he should be playing. And we know what Joel Embiid is capable of when he's healthy. We've seen him win MVP, averaging almost 34 points a game. The year that he only played 39 games, he was averaging almost 35. We've seen him drop 70 points before. We see what he can do on the glass. But this year, because his minutes have gone all the way down, he's only averaging 18, 6, and 3. So that's really not Joel Embiid type numbers. And also, he's already completely out of the running for any sort of award. I mean, he's only played 9 games this year. He's got multiple knee injuries that continue to cook him throughout his last few years, that's going to keep on lingering throughout his career. And just, basically make sure he continues to be a non factor. But obviously, it's going to have to be us maintaining Tyrese Maxey more than anything, just because we know what Embiid's capable of. We know what Paul George is capable of. But they're not the same Joel Embiid and Paul George as a few years ago. They're both already kind of declining, and it's mainly because of injuries. But, just continue to play our game and just see what happens against those two. And then we only have one win on the road, which is last game. Well, not the last game, but our last away game against Chicago, where, we genuinely just showed out and showed that we can win games. But this could be another one, just because Indiana's starting to click. They're starting to genuinely get their team chemistry back. They're starting to actually, pretty much remember how to play basketball. But, a lot of players are stepping up. Nemhard has been stepping up a lot recently. Same with Matherin, same with Siakam. Our bench is doing a little better. Still would like a little bit more from the bench, but you can only ask for so much, especially with kind of the ways the rotations have been playing. Also signing Garrison Matthews, releasing Jeremiah Robinson Earl. I personally wasn't the biggest fan of that, just because I liked the way JRE was playing. But we're messing around way too much with the rotations, way too much with the flips, and just signing one player, releasing another, and that's just gonna keep happening all year until we get healthy. But congrats to Garrison Matthews on a standard contract with the Pacers. I wish you luck. I hope you actually start balling out more. Also, I hope someone picks up JRE just because he's a dog. He was playing very good for us. But just hoping for another away win. That'd be pretty nice. Now let's talk about Drew a little bit, just because he's the guy that I kind of want to really pop off a little bit. He's currently increased his points per game by 8, his assists per game by 1.6. His rebounding numbers went a little bit down, but he's not having to rebound as much. But overall, he's really blossomed into a starting point guard caliber player. Obviously, as soon as Halliburton comes back, Nemhard's going right back to shooting guard. So he's just showing what he's able to do as a starting point guard, and he's doing pretty well. I mean, averaging 17 and 7. It's not. It could be a little bit of improvement on the assist, but we all know that Nemhard's still trying to develop that kind of like that flashy game where he plays a little bit more like Tyrese, and opens up the game a lot more. But a few games where he's had 12 assists and 7, 8, 9. He's had games like that, which is great. So it's not that he's not passing the ball. It's just maybe we can have a little bit more. Open up the court a little bit. Open up the game. Get people spaced out. You have Jay Huff who can hit threes. He's pretty much a Miles Turner prototype, except he's a little bit more consistent at the moment, just because, Miles Turner's coming off a game where he had 4 points in 28 minutes. But there's just a lot of things we need to utilize. And then last but not least, our game after Philadelphia is home against Washington. Last time we played Washington, we won by 30 points. So don't take any team too lightly. Obviously, everyone learned that about us last year when we ended up going to the finals, and people were just saying, oh, this Indy team is not going to get past the first round. Oh, they're not going to get past the second round. They're not making it past the conference championship and what happened. But don't take any team too lightly. They got some ballers. They got Alex Sarr, who's been balling out this year, and just a lot of other players. Like CJ McCollum is resurging a little bit, currently averaging almost 19 points a game. George is averaging 15. They got Johnson and Middleton averaging a little bit over 10. Overall, the team is kind of spaced out. They don't really have any crazy big scores. I mean, Carrington's only averaging 7 with 25 minutes a game. So there's just a lot here that you can look at to see who could really have a good game. Trey Johnson's currently averaging 11.5, so he's been doing good in his rookie season. But there's just a lot. There's just a lot. AJ Johnson hasn't really been able to shine. Only 4.5 minutes per game. But they have solid players on the bench, kind of in the non-rotational, like Malachi Branham from the Spurs. It was actually I thought would actually get more minutes, but he's currently averaging 8 minutes a game, which is way less than he averaged in San Antonio. So there's that to look at. Marvin Bagley off the bench. He's currently averaging 8 and 5. So he might be a piece that the Pacers might look at in the future. So I would kind of like to see that. But as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go, Sirs.